Y'all, I'm gonna just keep it a buck with you. My dog passed away, and that's why I hadn't posted in a very long time. Now, this is the dog I was gonna build my brand around, right? So every time I'd sit down to start editing, I would just break down because I miss my baby, and it's just hard. So take it easy on me. Thank you for being patient. R.I.P. Bella. She's gone but not forgotten. Now, I would try to take my mind off of things by researching the next scammer, but every time I went through the next story, it was just like the weirdest details. Punchmade Dev is under police investigation? Travion Rogers got caught lying? G Herbo arrested for wire fraud? Like, damn, what's going on? And it hurts. It hurts because I know exactly why fraud is skyrocketing, and I don't see it stopping anytime soon. Since the beginning of time, though, scams have always existed. Even before paper currency was invented, you'd have farmers out here trying to make a sick cow look healthy so they can get some greens or something. I don't know. My point is, though, it's low-key in our DNA to want to get over on the next person, to somehow get more than we deserve for less effort. But as currency has evolved and technology appeared, we're seeing scams that are so much more complex than they've ever been, making illegal black market fraud worth up to $10 billion annually. It's the topic of TV shows, movies, songs, YouTube channels. It's so pervasive in American life that you cannot outrun it. It's either scam or get scammed. But why does it seem to be getting worse? Maybe it's just me, but I'm starting to see it everywhere. My mom is talking about scammers are calling her. My credit card was stolen. My neighbor's kid was just arrested for stealing checks out the mail. I mean, as someone who lives and breathes this stuff, I can tell you this. Fraud in the later half of this 2020s, it's about to go insane, and it's mostly because of these three events right here. Average everyday folks got bold during COVID. Online banking started giving scammers the audacity, and inflation has simply made folks hungry. Now, all three of these things have really kicked off around 2020, and I'm telling you, from upper middle class, middle management bosses, all the way down to the busybodies out in the trenches, men and women from all walks of life are starting to get really grimy. A ton of people are testing the financial structure of this nation by trying to see how much they can get away with. Now, the U.S. government's response to the 2020 illness led to the greatest mass fraud event in American history. Folks were so unserious, filing for pandemic relief when they knew they didn't qualify for it. People were forging government documents, forging signatures, creating fake businesses, using other folks' identities. When they finally got the money, they weren't spending it on things like payroll or rent. They were buying Louis bags and Gucci belts, crab legs and lamb chops. Now, I'm not gonna lie, it could seem like fun. While I was out picking Bella up from the dog pound, it seemed like everybody and their mama was getting in on the action. I know a few people, actually, who decided to indulge themselves. But those are the same few people who are sitting behind bars right now. This mass fraud event has led to over 150,000 fraud complaints, thousands of PPP loan fraud arrests, so many Secret Service investigations, the involvement of hundreds of state and local law enforcement agencies. Now, people who think they've gotten away with things really have another thing coming. They will get caught and they will be thrown behind bars. It's just a matter of when. The government can be a little slow sometimes. But I do realize that the culture of fraud won't stop anytime soon. It seems like the events of 2020 only made people a lot more comfortable with testing the waters. Some of the people who think they got away with COVID fraud simply think they've outsmarted everybody, and so they're going to keep doing what they want to do. And I'm telling you, this is the wrong way to look at things, but some folks insist on learning the hard way. Either way, there was a spike in financial crime that has not dropped yet, and because of that, we can say that COVID was kind of the spark to a fraud wildfire, if you will. Now, if COVID was the spark, the popularity in online banking, now that was the gasoline. Because everybody was at home, a lot of people relied on online banking for a ton of services. As demand for online banking increased, so did the number of online banks. And by the nature of their existence, online banks are going to have less security measures than traditional ones. For instance, they all require ID, right? But it's not like a banker is sitting across from you comparing you to your photo. Just the fact that banking is now faceless makes people think that this isn't so bad and not so impossible. It makes fraud a lot more attainable for the average person. Now, with these newfound scammers, they're going to just do whatever they want to do, right? They can open up fake accounts, bust out credit cards, bust out loans, and with the newfound popularity of crypto, They can even move money around so that investigators have no idea where it went. Cryptocurrency especially has thrown a wrench in things. It's not regulated, and literally anybody in the world can start a coin up. Then you have newfound services like FedNow that promises security as you send cash from one person to another through the watchful eye of the federal government. Now, cryptocurrency is going to get its own video. FedNow is for sure going to get its own video, so I'll save those for another day. But I mentioned those to say that because online banking is becoming more and more in the fabric of how we do business, it's not going to go anywhere. And with that, neither will fraud. Inflation, however, is what's really pushing a lot more people to this alternative source of income. Now, I'm inclined to believe we're in late stage capitalism, right? Unemployment might be down, but people are out here working 2-3 jobs to make ends meet because honestly, wages are pitiful. And we're tired of working multiple jobs. Some people feel like the system doesn't work for them, so they're saying screw the system, get money by any means necessary. Some even forego money, they just skip straight to shoplifting. Now, I don't know about all that, I don't cover shoplifting. But if the corporate greed doesn't stop, we're about to see things go crazy real soon. Again, this line of thinking, screw the system, get money, that's only going to set us up for failure down the road. I mean, as you can see, fraud is becoming more and more profitable, so more and more people are going to be out here trying to do it, okay? It's just a matter of how profitable is it? Well, most fraudsters aren't out here reporting how much money they make, right? That ain't wise. No. Instead, the best way to track fraud profits is by looking at fraud losses. The Federal Trade Commission reported that 2.4 million Americans lost $8.8 billion in fraud in 2022. That's about $3,700 per scam victim. And again, if every person is subject to being scammed at least once or twice in their lifetime, that means any given person can be subject to lose $7,400, which for some people, that's really life-changing. Now, if you don't think that's life-changing enough, well, imagine the psychological effects of being tricked out your money. Being a scam victim can feel like a horrible violation. People work hard and make sacrifices for their money on a daily basis. Staring at screens all day is not good for your eyes. Working in food service can be hard on your back and your feet. Time away from family can be bad for mental health. But you know why we do it? We do it to pay the bills. Now imagine making those sacrifices just to lose it to somebody who's willing to waste your time, effort, and economic power for their comfort. Well, 2.4 million people have experienced that. That's why so many people don't mind when YouTubers like Kitboga scam the scammers. But I don't know. There's no call to action here. I just had this on my mind for a while. It seems like the state of the world is just getting crazier and crazier. The increase in fraud and fraud propaganda can be outstanding. Now, all I can do is discourage people from doing it, so that's what I'm going to try to do. I will say this though, if you're a victim of a scam, do not trust anybody who says they can recover your money. It's likely just another fraudster who's taking advantage of you when you're down bad. Anyways, have you been scammed before? Do you know a scammer? Are you a scammer? Do you see this getting better anytime soon? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments and like or share this video if you could identify with anything I said today. Finally, be sure to subscribe to the channel for more fraud news and analysis. In the meantime, stay out of trouble. To say goodbye to yesterday.